The other day, I was having a conversation with one of my best friends, and he said something to me that was very profound. To kind of back it up a little bit and tell you about this, we were having a conversation about another individual in my life, and I was deciding what to do about this person. If I should keep talking to them moving forward, if I should back off. And I was kind of getting in my own head about this, overthinking a lot of things that came with this. Now, the thing that he said to me was, Mike, if you find this to be a reason to not move forward and to speak to someone, you're always going to find a reason to not do so. Because I think he looked at it as something that really wasn't a big deal, but I was blowing it out of proportion, making it a big deal. And when I look back on this, he's right. He got me thinking a lot about the word certainty. Because I think so many times in life, this is something that's held me back from so many different things. And what I mean by this is a lot of times I won't move in life. I won't move forward and take that next step until I'm pretty much certain that the outcome will be 100% in my favor and it'll work out. And it's very rare in life when you're able to get to 100%, you know for a fact that something's going to work before you try it. And yet, this is the mentality I've kept for most of my life. A lot of times, I think this has made me miss out on opportunities, relationships with people, and other things that have come across my plate because I have found some reason to not move forward with something because I was waiting for a certain level of certainty before I did so. An example I can give of this is a long time ago, I wanted to be a personal trainer. I was really into fitness. I used to have a fitness Instagram page. I worked out, like that was pretty much my identity for most of my life. And everyone around me always told me to be a personal trainer. People asked me for advice. I thought about doing it. I followed a lot of personal trainers. I was in that world, but when push came to shove and it was time for me to step up and do that, I never did. And the reason that held me back was I got scared about walking around in a gym, having to go approach people, get them to sign up and do this stuff. I always thought like I didn't want to be salesy. I wanted to have certainty to know that I could have clients and such before I jump into it, so I would mitigate any risk. And that's the problem, right? Who jumps into that profession or anything like that and is able to have 100% certainty that things are going to work out? But people make it every day. And even though I saw that people making it, that were a similar experience level and interest in it than me, I never took that chance. I always let the lack of certainty stop me from doing that. Recently, an example that I can give is when it comes to videography. I know you can't see the camera that I'm filming on here. I'm using a Sony a7 III for anybody that's interested in cameras, but I love cameras. I really have been interested in these in a long time. And within the last year or so, I bought my first camera and I've been kind of messing with it, having fun with filming scenes, getting out here, taking some pictures and things like that too. And so many times online, I see people that started similar to where I am in my shoes. They start by doing cold outreach to businesses, offering services for free so that they can practice, build their portfolio up, and then get to the point where you can start charging for services and make that your actual path, your career moving forward. Now, I've been very interested in doing that. But once again, I come up to the whole point of certainty. And because I don't have the certainty that if I DM somebody, they're going to reach back out to me, let me film a video for them, because I don't have the certainty to know that I can run a business by myself or that I have the confidence to do this, I stop myself from doing it. There's no real reason to do this other than getting in my own head and overthinking these things. So when I was having this conversation the other day, even though we were talking about a different person, I think the concept and the lesson applies to pretty much anything in life. When you sit there and you wait for certainty, oftentimes I think it's just going to keep you stuck. And that's the problem that I was running into. As the new year has come across and as I made my last video, it really has me thinking about everything that I want to accomplish in 2026. And not only 2026, but moving forward in my life. And I'm starting to think about what type of excuses or what type of things do I want to allow me to stay in the same place in my life? Because if nothing ever changed from right now and I move forward 5-10 years from now, I don't know that I'd be proud of the choices that I made and the things that I avoided taking risk on. It's like I've said before, I think it's harder to regret the things that you didn't try rather than the things you did try and you found out weren't for you or maybe you didn't like them. And so I'm trying to take a page out of my own book and make sure I do that. That conversation really helped a lot to think about this because there's so many times where I really look back in hindsight and I kind of just ask myself why I made certain decisions or why I didn't take certain steps forward. It comes down to the same thing, which is the lack of certainty and feeling like I needed to have that 100% confidence before I moved at all. And so many people I think are like this in life. A lot of times when I talk to strangers, people around me, I see so much greatness, so much potential, and so many talents that people don't give themselves credit for. And they espouse some type of rhetoric that says something like that too. I have friends that are incredible artists. They can draw and do things, whether it's on an iPad, pen and paper, a pencil, you name it. But when they look at themselves, they say, you know what, I haven't accomplished this yet. No one has given me this type of accolade yet. I haven't got any types of great projects yet, so I'm not good enough. But when I look at this, I think this is absolutely incredible when I'm viewing it. So sometimes I think we can look at other people and we can see all these greatness and the talents and the potential of people, But when we turn the mirror on ourselves and look at ourselves, it's really hard to give ourselves that same credit. I think all of us have some level of greatness within us. Some people are great with dribbling a basketball. Some people can go build rockets. Some people are great authors. Some people are incredible artists. Everybody differs. But every single one of us has something that makes us really special in this life. And I think so many times the lack of certainty in ourselves, call it confidence or whatever you want to say, stops us from really tapping into what that potential is. I'm making this video today, not necessarily just as a reflection of myself, but more or less to try and hopefully catch someone that's on the fence about something, where maybe you think you're pretty good at something, you've had an interest, you've had a goal you wanted to do, but for whatever reason, maybe the last few years or maybe your whole life, you just haven't pursued it because you're waiting for this moment of certainty to come across. I'm here to tell you that anything you do in life that's worth it is always scary, especially when you haven't done it before, you don't have the backing for there. Just like I give the example of videography and such, like I don't have a portfolio, I haven't done this stuff. So of course it's gonna be scary jumping into any new territory like this. It's like this with anything new. But I also stop to think about what is the potential that I'm leaving on the table if I never try? Is it worth avoiding the risk and avoiding kind of feeling scared for a little bit moment to leave that potential on the table? Or is it more worth it to kind of face that risk and move forward? I think a lot of people say these types of things these days. The issue is that they come at you with it. They don't try to talk to you about it. And what I mean by that is people say, just do it, get it done. And they simplify something that otherwise is a much bigger roadblock, I think, than they give it credit for. I know how hard it is to hear something that makes sense and to not take that first step, because we can overthink very easy. If you're an overthinker like me, it's very easy to stop yourself, even if you know something could better serve you too. I don't know if it ever really gets any easier, but I do know that if you keep doing the same thing over and over, like as you always have, things are probably not going to change. Some people get lucky and opportunities fall into their laps, but I think that is very few and far between, and that's the exception, not the rule. So if you want to be exceptional and excel in your craft, chase your goals, get that relationship, move to that city, whatever it is, maybe sometimes the best time to do it is when you're thinking about it, but you don't have the certainty. Sometimes the coolest stories get forged in some of the biggest risks we can take, right? So if you think about it, if you're at the end of your life and you look back and you say, you know what, I thought about doing these 5 things and I never pursued any of them in my life. That's a hard pill to swallow, kind of like in the regret video that I talked about before. But if you look back at the end of your life and you say, I tried these 5 things, 3 of them didn't work out, but wow, look at these 2. Remember that time where I was so scared to go ask this person out and they said yes? Remember this time I was so scared to move to the city, I had no friends, I had no money, and I just did it and it worked out? Remember that time I jumped into this program, I got the certificate, the next thing you know, I'm working in this incredible job I've always wanted. It was scary, it was terrifying, I had to take some steps back. People doubted me, but I made it. I would much rather be part of that latter group looking back and thinking, I'm glad I did and I was scared, but it makes for more of a fun story. So I think moving forward, I'm trying to fill in my own chapters of my life with cooler stories, and that starts with taking more risk and facing more uncertainty. There's some things I have on my mind right now that I want to try, and I'll likely put some of those updates and things in these videos as I move forward. I'm not exactly sure how they're going to turn out, and I'm scared even thinking about them right now, even though I'm not specifically saying what I'm thinking about. Some of my really good friends know exactly what I mean right now. But I like to be a person that practices what I preach, and I'm coming out here to be open and honest with this because I'm scared. I get nervous, and I'm just like a regular person like everybody else. But sometimes the people that just have a little bit of courage within them to step forward and take the smallest step there are the ones that have the coolest stories at the end of the day. I know you can do it. And there's nothing holding you back other than yourself when you really think about it at the end of the day. You know, we're all human. We all kind of start off with the same slate. Some of us have some unfair advantages in life, and that's okay. You're never going to be completely even with everybody. But I think that you can make what you want out of your life if you put the right energy for it. I'm not going to sit here and say, just get up, just do it, don't think about it, get it done, be tough, forget about it. I'm not going to talk to you like that because that doesn't work on me, and I don't like when people talk to me like that. Instead, I'm really just trying to sit here and kind of be open and honest about this and saying, like, look, I'm scared. I don't know how things are going to work out, but I'd rather try and look back and say, well, I flopped, that didn't work. Or, you know what? Wow, I'm glad I tried, and look at what happened to me now. It'd be incredible if I look back on 2026 and said, this is the year that I decided to face some uncertainty in my life and see what I was really made out of. Not only for myself, but to hopefully give an example towards other people that are maybe scared or on the fringes of doing something, that it is possible. I know there are plenty of examples out there of people doing these things, so my example won't necessarily be different than many other people you've seen. But if anything I've ever said has resonated with you, if you see a little part of yourself in me, hopefully it feels like it's a little bit more attainable when you see this, because I'm starting at the beginning of my journey. I'm figuring everything out, trying to figure out what I want to do with cameras, this YouTube channel, relationships, life, moving, finances, everything. And I hope that 5 years from now, and this channel takes off and it's doing well, we have an incredible community built here that we're able to sit there and talk back and reflect back on these early videos, laugh at the quality of how I'm editing and doing all this stuff and see how far I've come. And I hope that on the other side, I'm able to see comments from people that are watching these right now and see comments from you 5 years in the future too, to see the progress you've made too. I know you can do it. Keep your head up, keep the faith, and a little bit of courage goes a long way. So I hope this helped. Hope you have a great morning. Take care. Thanks for rocking with me. I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.